How's it going everyone? Welcome back to SwitchStars. My name's Luke, and today on the channel I actually have a nice little treat for you for a change, and I'd go so far as saying quite possibly a bit of a hidden gem. The game I'm talking about though is Alien Death Mob, a classic top-down twin-stick shooter with a wonderfully vibrant pixel art visual style, which harks back to the classic games of yesteryear. It's furiously fast-paced and has a kicking soundtrack to boot. But let's get into this review and see what's what, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy my content and want to see more. Now, like a lot of these early arcade style games, there's not a whole lot in the way of storyline with this one, but we do get a nice little intro cutscene where we witness an alien invasion taking place, as flying saucers launch an assault on an unsuspecting city. But luckily, our would-be hero is there to save the day, blasting them down with his cock cannon, or machine gun as the case may be. His work has only just begun though, and the storyline takes us to various locations across the world as we take the fight to those alien bastards in an attempt to save humanity from the plight. That's about as complicated as it gets though. Now, from the main menu we have two separate game modes, both of which are unfortunately single player only, but we have the story mode which takes place across 30 different missions, and we also have the arcade mode which actually contains 4 different arcade modes, and we'll get onto those shortly. Kicking things off with the story mode though, this one kind of operates a little like an arcade game in the fact that it's still a score based game mode, but you'll be earning stars in each mission and will have to earn a specific number of stars to unlock subsequent missions. The aim of the game though is simple: fight back against several waves of aliens, earning points as you go, earn more points and complete them faster to earn higher star ratings, and try not to lose all of your lives along the way. The gameplay is your standard twin stick shooter setup, with you controlling your character with the left thumbstick and shooting at enemies using the right thumbstick. Pretty straightforward and something you can pick up and play instantly without any kind of direction. But to spice things up a little, there are a bunch of different mechanics thrown into the mix, and you're going to want to put all of these to good use if you want to smash those high scores and come out with a 5-star rating. Starting off with something that I've never actually seen done in this genre of game though, we have bullet time, a mechanic made famous by the likes of Max Payne and The Matrix. But this is going to be your biggest advantage over the hordes of enemies and copious amounts of bullets thrown at you, as whenever one of them comes close to you, the game slows to a crawl, allowing you to weave in and out of them and literally dodge a bullet. This mechanic works incredibly well though and makes for some extremely skillful gameplay when used correctly, though you still do need to pay close attention to enemy movements, and if you're moving too fast it won't kick in fast enough. So it's not a get out of jail card by any means, and you're still expected to play smart. Your next advantage comes in the form of power-ups, which are dropped off at set intervals by a car and come in 2 different flavours. The first being a shield power-up which will protect you from any form of damage for a short period of time and are also occasionally dropped by enemies, and the others are the weapon upgrades, and there's a huge amount of variety to these, letting you pepper the screen with projectiles, missiles or lasers. You're given a choice of 2 different weapons though each time they're dropped off, with one of them vanishing once you pick the other one up, but again they only last for a limited amount of time. Finally, there are the score multiplier pickups which also spawn at set intervals and do exactly what they say on the tin: multiply your score, adding additional multipliers so long as you keep picking them up before they vanish to keep the chain going. Now, each mission in the game features its own unique environments, and to me these very much felt like they were giving nods towards some of the classic retro games of yesteryear. Like this snow one definitely reminded me of the classic Windows 95 snowboarding game, and this jungle one to something like Metal Gear or Contra. But each presents their own challenges depending on how much environmental clutter there is, and you can really use this to your advantage, funneling enemies into narrow gaps, but it can also be your downfall if you're not careful. The enemy waves also have plenty of variety to them. You have a good mixture of melee and ranged enemies, both large and small, some of which will scatter at random, posing obstructions for you to work around, others which will home in on you, and ranged enemies that can also either target you or, in the case of some of the larger ones, fire out massive lasers, further limiting your play space. The sheer number of enemies makes for some extremely hectic gameplay though, and while there is the odd wave where you'll face off against a small amount of larger enemies, for the most part you'll have to think on your feet whilst playing, and the game is really focused around chaining together those power-ups and shields to ensure you have enough firepower and protection to get you through unscathed. Thankfully, even if you don't survive until the end of the final wave, you'll still earn enough stars so you can often proceed to the next mission and then come back to mop things up. Now finally, to touch on the arcade modes, there are 4 of them, each of which are high score chasers and put a new spin on an existing formula. You have Mobotron, which is of course Robotron 2084, having you battle against robots and other enemies whilst trying to rescue humans, and Mobotron Plus, which is pretty much identical but also implements the game's bullet time mechanics. There's Alien Death Invaders, which is essentially Space Invaders, though the ability to shoot at angles definitely makes things significantly less challenging. And finally you have Berserker Death Mob, and I'm not too sure if there's a retro equivalent of this, but if you played Rainbow Laser Disco Dungeon, another fantastic arcade game which I covered a while back on the channel, this one follows a similar format, having you work your way through a series of rooms, destroying enemies to open up exits before this evil smiling face can catch you. All of these game modes though offer additional replayability to the game and are all functionally sound. My only gripe is that there are no online leaderboards, and that just like the story mode, they only support a single player. Overall though, as a full package, Alien Death Mob definitely has a lot to offer, especially for the low asking price. Its gameplay is well rounded with a solid set of mechanics, it's challenging but also forgiving at the same time, and its multitude of game modes gives you plenty of options, whether you're looking to just dive in for a few minutes at a time or play for extended periods to obtain each and every star in its mission mode. Criticism wise, things can get a little too hectic at times and there is a little slowdown occasionally when it comes to frame rate, but all round it's a great little game with a wonderful retro visual aesthetic and some absolutely banging tunes to play along to. Well worth the money in my opinion, and a definite must play for fans of classic arcade high score chasers. With that said though, have you played Alien Death Mob and what did you think of it? Or if not, will you now be picking it up? Let me know down in the comments section below. As always, a big thanks to the patrons of the channel for their ongoing support and to you the viewers for watching. But for now, drop a like and subscribe to the channel for more Nintendo Switch content, and until next time, take care of yourselves and game on.